Hi, Dipper. Hi, Ashton. Can I get 2 packs of guilt? Sure. What's this?
That's a new game called Keyforge. You want to give it a try?
That sounds fun. Alright, Ashton. Teach me how to play Keyforge.
Absolutely. So, to play Keyforge, first thing I'd like to cover is that there's elements in it that are unique to any other card game. The first is that unlike traditional trading card games, in these games you're not actually going to build a deck. You buy a deck 100% pre-built. The first card in the deck is actually your deck list. This is randomly generated by a computer. The current rules of the game, you may not modify this deck list. So that is your deck. When it randomly builds you a deck, it chooses of different factions. There's 7 different factions in the game. They are Brobnar, Dis, Logos, Mars, Sanctum, Shadows, and Untamed. Every deck is going to have 3 of those different factions. So you can see that this deck has Mars, Logos, and Untamed. Also, the name of the deck is randomly generated. The name of this deck is Racing Flarekeeper Manicus. Very weird. When you're playing the deck, every card is going to have the faction up in the top corner. The point of the game is to get amber and then use that amber to forge keys. The first person that can forge 3 keys wins.
Alright, what are keys?
Right now, we don't use anything to represent keys other than maybe a die, but as the game produces more, they will come out with other great ways to represent amber and keys. Ultimately, a key is just, you get it, you get 3, you win. There are different types of cards. One type of card is a creature card. Creatures can always do 2 things. They can always fight and they can always reap. When they fight, they're fighting your opponent's creatures. When they're reaping, you're getting amber. You do either of those by turning that creature sideways. If, for example, you have a card that has a play effect, when it comes into play, you're going to do that effect. If it has a reap effect, any creature can reap, but if it has a reap effect, you also get that effect. Any creature can fight. If it has a fight effect, you also get that effect. Some creatures have actions. These creatures can also be turned sideways to perform that action.
Alright, what's the difference between reaping and using an action effect?
Reaping gets you amber. Amber is what you need to forge keys. Forging keys is how you win. So an action doesn't get you that amber that you need to win.
Alright, can you only use the reap and fight abilities during a certain time of the turn?
No, there's no turn structure determining when you can attack or play cards. The only turn structure is when you can draw cards and when you can forge keys.
So if I understand this correctly, for example, if Witch of the Eye reaps, she gets amber and also gets to use her reap effect?
That is correct. The other types of cards are actions, which have a one-time effect and then go to the discard, upgrades, which improve a creature that you already have, or artifacts, which also, like creatures with actions, have an action, but they can't attack or reap. Some creatures have abilities like elusive or assault. They'll say that they have them and then have a reminder text for how they work. They're pretty easy to learn. So I want to give you an example turn. The first thing I'm going to do at the beginning of my turn is I'm going to see if I have enough amber to forge a key. It takes 6 amber to forge 1 key. Once you forge your 3rd key, you win. Right now I have no amber because this is a made-up turn. At the beginning, after I've forged a key, if I can, I'm going to choose one of the 3 factions of my deck. This turn, I can only play or use cards on the board from that faction. So for this turn, I'm going to choose the Mars faction. I have 3 creatures out here, but I can only use this one because it is the Mars faction. I have 6 cards in my hand, but since I chose Mars, I can only play these 2. So I will put this creature out. All creatures come into play exhausted, and I will use this action, doing an effect and then going to the graveyard. Then I have 1 creature out that is on Mars, so I am going to reap with it. I would then get 1 amber towards Fortunate Key. Also, it has a fight or reap effect, so if I fight or reap with it, I'm going to get that effect, and I will do that effect. Which, on this case, readies a non-agent Mars creature. Oh, I just put out a non-agent Mars creature. Now I can use it. Then I'll use it. Then I will end my turn. At this point, I will ready all my creatures, and I will draw my hand back up to a full 6 cards. Then it is your turn. Let's look at a combat scenario. So let's say you have a Titan mechanic, and I have a Tunk. I can exhaust my Tunk to fight your Titan mechanic. It is going to deal 6 damage to your Titan mechanic. Your Titan mechanic would also deal 6 damage to my Tunk. Normally they would both die here, but my Tunk has a defense of 1. So it reduces the first 1 damage it would take in a game by 1. So you would deal 5 to my 6, and I would deal 6 to your 6. Your creature would die, and I would place 5 damage markers on my Tunk. Damage markers stay on a creature until it dies or something would remove that damage. Let's try a couple of turns of a game. So I'm going to go first, and for my faction, I'm going to choose the Mars faction. So I'm going to put out a John Smith, and I'm going to put out a Grabber Jammer. I have no other Mars cards, so that ends my turn. So I'm going to ready all my creatures and draw a hand back up to 6. That is going to make it your turn. What faction would you like to choose?
I'm going to choose Untamed.
Okay, go ahead and play any Untamed cards you have.
I'm going to play Ancient Bear.
Okay.
Creature enters exhausted.
Okay.
And then I'm going to play Fertility Chamber, which is an action.
Okay. So you're going to get 4 amber, which it shows over here on the side. So we're going to put a die down here saying 4 amber. And then what is its play action?
Its play action gives my opponent 2 amber.
Oh, okay. I will get 2 amber. Alright. Do you have any other Untamed cards?
I do not.
Alright, so ready your creatures and then draw back up to 6.
And that ends my turn.
Alright, for my second turn, I'm going to choose Mars again. I'm going to play out an artifact that I'll be able to use on future turns. And I'm going to play out a creature. And then I'm going to reap with John Smith, getting another amber. And when I reap with him, I ready a non-agent Mars creature. Well, I just put 1 out, so I'm going to ready this one. And I'm going to use this Grabber Jammer to fight that. When I fight with it, I capture 1 of your amber. So you're going to go down an amber, and I'm going to put an amber over here on Grabber Jammer. If you kill that, you'll get that amber back. And we're fighting, so I'm going to deal 4 to your 5, putting 4 wounds on him. And you're going to deal 5 to my 4, -1, still kills him. You get your amber back. And then I will also attack him with my Phyllis the Disintegrator, destroying him. Think you understand how to play?
Makes sense. Well, thanks for teaching me Keyforge. It seems pretty fun.
Well, thanks for choosing us for this project. We were really, ProSoul Games was really happy to be a part of it.
Thanks for watching, everyone.
If you're interested in Keyforge or any of other games, come down. We're on the South Oregon Street.